There's something that we've all learned from COVID, I think, is how important it is to have social connection. You know, that old adage about it takes a village to raise a child. So to be able to provide activities for kids, for parents to do with their kids, people have really begun to look to the library as the community center.
Kids who get free and reduced meals in school, when school ends, the food ends, unless there are active summer food programs. 60% of the kids in Thomaston get free or reduced lunches and breakfasts, and it was nothing. Doing a food program for kids is never going to be successful unless you tie it in with something that draws them in. Because a lot of times the kids will come really for the activities, and then you slip them the food. And so that's how 40 Days of Summer was born.
Normally what we'd be able to do is we would either have somebody come in, a guest speaker come in and do an activity with the kids for the first hour, hour and a half. And then in the second half of the day we would serve lunch and then also usually play a game outside. A major event that we were able to secure a couple of years ago was the Coast Guard flew a helicopter in to the school grounds uptown. And so we were able to bring all the kids up there and have the helicopter land, and all the kids could go into the helicopter and run around. Because we were no longer allowed to have large gatherings, we had to very quickly figure out how to provide something for kids. So we first had to figure out food, and then afterward we needed some kind of an incentive for kids. So we provided different grab bags of activities that myself and a coworker of mine, Daniel, would set up and then hand that out with the lunches.
The bright side is that it ended up being incredibly successful for 40 Days of Summer last year. I mean, the need for food in the community was obviously high because a lot of people have been impacted financially by COVID, and people were desperate for things to do with their kids. In some ways, it was almost easier for a lot of parents to just be able to come pick up a project and the meals and take them home rather than having to commit to dropping their kid off at 11 a.m. and picking them up at 1 p.m. So while I think I'm looking forward to the day that we can go back to being completely in person, I think there's definitely a lesson to be learned from being able to provide take-home projects for kids as well.
We plan on having the same format of a take-home lunch and activity. We'll have some of the same programs or same activities as last year while also introducing some new ones that I've found over the course of last year. We might have in-person activities again in a limited number depending on if we get the okay for it.
We just launched a new program with Maine Audubon has provided Nature Explorer backpacks. They're backpacks with binoculars and specimen boxes and magnifying glasses and books so that families can check those out and they can go on nature walks and they can look for birds, and there's some guided activities. We also have a telescope that we have available for patrons to check out that also has an astronomy discovery kit. So it's like the Nature Explorer backpacks where there's stargazing resources.
People need to have a place that they can go to so they're not lonely and sitting in their house all the time. This is a library, but it's also the community center. And actually, years ago, when somebody wrote a grant to the Tabitha and Stephen King Foundation, they referred to this as the living room of Thomaston. And that's really what it is.